Hey everybody, welcome to the weekend vid. Tonight we are going to be looking at the monthlies. We've got the new month opening up, last month of the year, going into the holiday month pretty much, right? So we're going to have Christmas, we'll have New Year's, and then we'll get new yearly charts. So that's something we are excited for. That being said, if we go to the indexes to start off, SPY obviously went out on the highs, so that's going to look good. They've been going up this year, so we'll see, is there going to be any profit taken end of year or rebalancing? What are they going to go into as we close out the yearly candles? But it's going to look good, going out at the highs. Qs similarly, it's going to look good. It's just going out at the highs, so we'll see it comes of that as well. Obviously into short-term exhaustion risk. You can see your triangle in there. But we'll see. If we go to Dow, you're going to see 3 on the month. So there's your monthly outside bar. It's going to be something you want to know about because of the 3. If we go to the IWM, you're going to see also going out at the highs. So it's going to look good. Goes right into all-time highs, right? So it's going to be exhaustion risk. So most things are going to look good just going out at the highs. Does not mean we have to have a bullish month next month, though. And it's just going to be closer to 2 up. That being said, going into the new month, what do we got? Well, we will see home builders. XHB. Not sure if that's going to be quite an inside month here. You can see 126.09. Yeah, so 2 pennies higher than last month's range, but most of the home builders go inside. So if we go to DHI, inside month. If we go to LEN, inside month. You see PHM. 3-1 on the month, and then KBH, you see inside month, and then Home Depot 3, Lowe's 2 down and slightly green. So we'll see if we get any simultaneous breaks on that type of stuff. We will also see in the information technology, IBM, you're gonna have your inside month here, which will be directional if it triggers upwards. If we go to GLW, it's been on a tear. You're going to have momentum hammer inside month. That is coming up towards the top of the range, so we'll be aware of that exhaustion risk. If we go to communication services, we'll see Comcast, CMCSA, inside month. It is in the middle of the range, but, break up, and we'd look to take these guys out. If we go to Roku, you'll have 3-1 on the month, so looking for the 2 of this or that, and you'll see they're slight inside week hammer to start off the month. If we go to Donald J. Trump, DJT, it's going to be an inside month. It does have this mother bar issue, so I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get out of that, but, it's been kind of crazy this year, at least decent movement once we can get those monthly 2s, so we'll see what comes of that, if they can get out of that or not. And then one of my favorites here, OKLO, in the utility/uranium space. So we had this nice 322 quarter we played back through this 3 in here on the reclaim. Now we have the inside month above that. So this is considered still good. And we'd like to see us get out of the highs of that, around 27.75. And you will see we have inside week to break that next week above 26.05. So we'll see what comes of that, if we can do it or not. They were 2 up to end off the week last week, and if this rev strat were to reconfirm 2 up again, above 2,440, we'd have a magnitude to take last week's highs, which would be ideal to start off that month, get it going. And we'll see this 322 quarter. You can see 3, 2 down hammer, still gunning, right? So this monthly would reconfirm it, the week would reconfirm it, and the daily rev strat last week reconfirmed that. So we'll see if that continues to follow through. Tells you things like SMR, which are also similar sector. You'll see kind of a momentum hammer. And there's a lot of uranium stuff. One sec here. So you're going to see a lot of things like the uranium miners, for example. You see we have this compound 3 in here. We are reclaiming with the hammer counter shooter month to get out of this 3 here. So above that, you'd have 4982. We'd want to know about that. You'll see inside week last week. If we go to URNJ, you'll see inside week as well. Hammer counter shooter month. You can see also reclaiming this stuff as well. If we go to URA, which is kind of the uranium sector, inside month, right? So all this stuff is lining up. Something we will want to know about next month and into the end of the year. And if we look at the things like URA, right, you got a 2-year inside bar breakout. So these 2 years inside of these 2 years. Now, since they're breaking to the upside, right, if they can reconfirm next year, they have been a lot higher still. And uranium, obviously we know with the demand and energy and whatnot, this big old 3 on the yearly, you can pretty much set an alert here, and that's something you're going to want to know about just indefinitely. As long as we're above that, that's something you'd want to know to go back up into like 130, 140. So definitely something we want to know about in the uranium sector. We also see things like quadruple U. So you can see potentially a rev strat for next year, right? So setting that up. If you go to the month, going out at the highs, if you go to the quarter, you're going to see the 2-2 quarter back through these guys. And we'll see it's reclaiming this 3. So I don't believe we're going to get this all into the end of the year, right? But this is something we want to know about as well. You can see the 2-2 quarter coming up in here, already hit its magnitude, so we're aware of that. But they go 3 last week. So with the uranium sector, this is a pretty good one if you're going to trade like smaller accounts and stuff, because it's only $7, but it does like to move. Like when it rallies, it will rip. So if we're out of this next week with the uranium sector, we want to know about that, and just next month overall to end the year off. That being said, there's also, I believe, things like GEV, which you're going to see they go 3-1 up at the highs on the weekly in here. It's going to be part of uranium stuff. And let me pull it up. You're also going to see some of our favorites in the uranium, like CCJ, setting up. And there's a lot more than that. If you go and take a look at the kind of alternative material stocks, that's going to be a lot of this stuff. So you're going to see like quadruple U's in there, and UEC, DNN, Denison Mines. You're going to see some currently 2-2 quarter already at the highs, but that's a sector definitely we want to have some focus on if we see those 2s coming in next week. Specifically, close, one of my favorites in there. All right, moving on. Going into next month, we'll have some hammers. So you see MRK and the healthcare's hammer on the month. We actually don't have many of those. It's really the only hammer I see in there. But if we go to XLV, you can see a slight hammer in there. So we'll see, what comes of that with the sectors. Closed, looking good on the weekly and whatnot, but it's got to become a 2. So we'll let it open a bit. If we go to the consumers, you see Las Vegas Sands LVS, the hammer on the month. And this is one from the macro. You'll see the 2-2 quarter, and they are still, you can see a little bit smaller, stuck inside of this range here, but we'll have the simultaneous break there. Hammer month LVS with hammer month win counter shooter. And you got this broadening formation here coming back through. Notice you're reclaiming this 3 above here, 91.40. So if you can take this out, 97.53, it's something we'd want to know about. If we go to things like Marriott, the macro, you're going to see with the 3-3-2-2 month, I was in a monthly video a while ago, they have the hammer quarter as well, gunning. So this is already going up, and therefore you already have evidence that, they're buying this sector. So we'll see that's kind of your hotels, restaurants sector. If we look at Staples, you're going to see did go 3 on the month. This was something we picked up in Discord, and this was actually on Thursday. So you're going to see we had the 2 down at green, so 2 up, 2 down, and then reclaim of all this previous range here, 2 up, takes these guys out, pauses the outside week, and it's still good. So you can see 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and that's a good thing. That being said, since it's a 3 on the month, if we reclaim that, that'd be problems. If we can stay out of that, then that's a really good thing. So we'll see what comes of that. But you'll see in the Staples ADM, puking into the lows. Notice your mother bar on the month here. That hammer would cause the reclaim of this with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 month inside bar range to that, right? So if they reclaim that, you could have some bigger moves in there. If you go to chicken noodle soup, CPB, we already got the triangle in here. You'll see the hammer month forming in here. Now, it could get stuck in here if that does not work. So we just want to know about that. But 47.25. Go to Philip Morris. You're going to see relative strength inside month. So everything took last month's lows last month. This did not. So anytime that is above 133.42, you want to know about that. They have been on a tear this year. You're going to see the inside year and up. Notice they reclaim this mother bar here. The inside year up, boom, takes them out. Now, since they're still above that, 312, that could keep it running into the end of the year here. If we go to industrials, it's not going to be monthly signals, but we will see Boeing and see hammer counter shooter month, and it's been kind of a dud, the past 4 years. But we have a 3 in here on the quarterly that could cause a reclaim. We'll see. There's also some 3s in here if they're going to reclaim that as well. That being said, though, above this, we'll give it our attention. 157.66. See what comes of it. We'll also see in the defense DFEN. So no signal in DFEN, but a lot of this stuff you're gonna see 3s like GD 3 month. So that's definitely a broadening formation, right? For sure. So if you drop it down in there, you're gonna see it goes inside weak down there. So does that reconfirm or reclaim this big old 3, right? It's something we want to know about. If we go to Lockheed Martin, you're gonna see similar types of stuff going on. So we have the big 3 on the week here, and then 3 week. They do have a slight hammer if we go to the month. They are 3-2 down, right? So we don't want to buy the dip unless we can start getting back into this. You can see if we zoom out, we're still above all this stuff, so not reclaiming that yet. But we'll see, does it want to come back? We obviously know the war stocks and whatnot. We have some conflicts still going on. If you go to NOC, you're going to see also, like Lockheed Martin, 3-2 down on the month. And then same thing. Here's your big 3. Then you see 3 again bigger on the weekly. So, we'll see. Do they reclaim that? If we go to GD, we already did that. GD, Lockheed Martin, Boeing's a part of that technically. GE, I believe, is also technically a part of the aerospace area. I could be incorrect on that. I'm 95% sure. But inside month in there. And if we go to RTX. So you see RTX closer to going 2 up month compared to the rest of these. If we go to the week, you'll see 3-1-1 hammer on the week. So RTX is going to be stronger than the rest of those, also in the aerospace defense. So above that, we might have some relative strength there. We'll see, do all of those take last week's highs or not going into the new month, end of the year. Some shooters we're seeing here. You're going to have MU. 3-1-3, and then here's your 2-bar rev strat back through this 3. Right, so they are technically still mother bar, but below this they could have some issues in here. That'd be 95.53. You'd be looking for this first down in here, 84.12. And for now they are still inside quarter. You'd be closer setting up the quarter into the rev strat year next year, and just from the looks of AMD, that's a rev strat for next year. Right, this is all gonna be in the macro yearly video, which if you didn't watch last year's, it performed pretty well, so you want to know about that. If we go to Nvidia, that's still the winner there, right? If you got things like TXN, still a little bit better. Marvel, you see, still a little better. QCOM, that's a little bit of a problem, right? Here, 3 on the year. And we specifically did talk about this on the macro videos, right? 3-2-2, boom. And then it reclaims that below this, and that caused some of those problems. Also, the outside bar shooter with MU. If you got a Dell, slight shooter, it's a little bit stuck in these guys. Inside quarter still, so we'll be aware of that. But we go to ADX or ADSK Autodesk. You see, so far 2 weeks to take out these highs in here. You'll have a 3 here on the month, with the shooter month potentially setting up, and 3 weeks. So if we see them poke down, fail to take last month's lows, and start coming back into this, right, then they're going the other way. But if we can stay out of that below this 289.03, that could cause some destruction to start the new month. The rest of these can be a little bit smaller cap. XPEV, you can see some little shooter month in here. Lumen, this one doesn't look the best, and is this what I think it is? No, it's not. All right, but reclaiming the mother bar in here, you can see I spent 2 months inside of that, and then maybe a shooter to reclaim it. That could have some problems. And then, slightly JetBlue, but nothing simultaneous break besides some of those chips. That being said, as far as, getting some 322s next month, we're going to see some energy. So when you go to XLE, you can see they closed out, pretty strong, right? Still a 2-2 quarter. You get a XL, or not XLP. If we go to OIH, sorry, coming back from a break, I'm taking last week's off, taking me a second, but OIH, You're gonna see they close a little stronger. They're reclaiming all these guys, so it looks good. We're just gonna see, do they start following through with that, or are they gonna change their mind, right? You're gonna have this triangle in here, right? So you don't want to buy it up into these highs. We'll have to see what they set up, but we can also go to XOP 3, right? So we did see them go after them last month. It's a matter of do they confirm that or not. But if we go to PSX, you're going to see potentially a 322, which would reclaim this 3 after reclaiming this 3 and also potentially reclaim that 3. Right? They have been chopping them up a little bit, so not as much yearly continuity as we'd like. We get an MPC similarly, right? Potentially a 322, which would reclaim that 3 as well. And then Oxy, you can see bottom of its monthly broadening formation. Also potentially 322 counter shooter 3, so that could be a big problem for the short sellers above this stuff, 5230. But we'll see. If we go to crude oil, still not seeing any good setups for the buyers of crude if they're looking to do that. You can see inside month closer to being 2 down, which would cause a 2-on-2 reversal, which would more than likely take all this stuff out. And then after they do that, maybe they triangle back up, right? See on the month in here, we've been chopping around this thing for a good while. So if we can take this stuff out, then maybe we can get a rally towards the end of the month, end of the year. That would be ideal for, buyers in here. If you're going to get that, it starts as a 1. That being said, you'll see some financials, 322 SPGI, just up at all-time highs with the year in force. You'll see Aflac, potentially a 322 up at all-time highs. And we already know financials are going, right? We're going to XLF. They really went after it last month and mostly on the election, right? But that being said, we can take a look at the bearish side of things as well. All right, so these guys might have some issues here, right? So if we go to Roblox, you're going to see this. So they really chopping them up, right? Sideways. There was some nice stuff in here. You can see the hammer month all on the bottom. Right? A little bit more chop on this side of things. But you'll notice slight higher highs, pokes up, and then potentially 322 below this, 47.95. So that could cause some issues. No weekly setups to trigger that or anything, but we will see. Maybe a 322 on Monday could get them puking right below this stuff. 49.68. Outside of that, there's really not too much on the downside of things. You might have like weed stocks, SNDL, which you could have some PMG in there if if you want to go after 18 cents, which is 10%, right? But not too much on the bearish side of things there. So we've got some 3-1s, just to reiterate, PM, right? Triple M, you're going to see 3-1, and it is back through previous range with the year. If we go to eBay, you see 3-1. All right, so we got the outside bar, inside bar. And when it comes to 3-1s, right, what are we doing? We're looking for the 3, right? Gives you your broadening formation. So we can't just draw it out like this. Here's our broadening formation from the month, right? And then that 1 on the monthly, right, tells us we're going to get a 2 next. So for example, eBay, 3 on the week. And there's a lot of cool things here. 3 countered by shooter to go 322. It's also reclaiming this mother bar week. So if this works, we'd like to also see them potentially take this out just on levels of reclaim 56.33. And if that works, you would have the month in force down. So that's how we can trigger signals, right? Potentially they have some issues. If we go to Tractor Supply Co., also consumer discretionary in there at the eBay, you see 3-1. This is occurring at the top of the range, right? Now we want to take last month's highs or lows. No weekly signals really to do that. 3-week inside bar pattern like that. If we go to PHM, which is your home builders, we already knew about that, right? Roku, we already knew about that as well. And then there's VFC, which I'm not trading that much. They have been a lot higher, so it used to be somebody, but we will see what comes of that. You can see this is your triangle in here, so you need to get out of that to cause some expansion. We can then take a look and see who's a 3 from last month. We already talked about a few in the defense sector, but let's see. All right, so we're not going to be covering all of them, but we're going to take a look at some of the biggest movers in here that are going outside last month. So if we go to Alta, there it is. You'll see the outside bar hammer on the monthly above 39,593. Could be trying to come back through all this. And you can see we got this big 3 back in here to go after the reclaim. We're also reclaiming this 3 already. And, it's been higher. If we go to the quarter, could become a 2-2 quarter as we end off the year. Also the 3 on the quarter in here that we could start reclaiming. If we go to John Deere, saying here we see big 3 up into the highs, right? And this comes on earnings, which they did follow through on. And this was actually one we talked about in the weekend vid prior to the earnings. You're going to see 3-2-2 hammer, right? And then blast off, right? And even if you're not holding through earnings, right in here on Thursday, you can see they're just off to the races. If we go to Dick's, you see a 3 on the month, right? Still mother bar to this 3, but we could get out of that because we got a 3 now. So 3-2-2 on the week could send you back through all of that below 206.98. We do see a lot of retail stuff, going. So this would be one that is, not performing as well potentially. And retail, again, goes out at the highs. Doesn't mean it has to be good next month, but if it stays outside of all this stuff, doesn't reclaim it, then they're going to stay good. If we go to Elf with Ulta Beauty, you're going to see the big old outside month, right? And we did not get that higher high in here, so we'd have to draw a triangle, something like this, but potentially could start reclaiming all that stuff. And you'll see no signals. If we go to NU, you're going to see this 3-2-3-3, right? So they're really fighting them up in here. And they close lower out here on the month, outside of the previous range. So anytime they're below this, 16.15, you'd be looking for that down in here, 967. We go to Unity. You'll see the 1-3 on the month, right? And notice how it reclaims all these previous lows up in here. So that's something we want to know about. Anytime we're above 24.85 next month, back through previous range. We've already talked about QCOM and MU, but those are also going to be on the list. We will see on. See a big old 3 on the month, right? And closing out. This is one we were posting about on Twitter, showing some examples of things. And you're going to see the 3-2-2 day, right? Pukes down in here, followed by the hammer reclaim all the way back through that. So pretty cool. Just an example. But if we go to DKNG, you're also going to see outside month. And they've obviously just had the recent sports betting season. So anytime they're above this, 44.48. And we talked about GD already, which make sure to get on the list. We will see a few smaller names like TDOC, 3 on the month. You're going to see this on the quarter, 2-2 quarter hammer. Back through previous range, right? And these are all the COVID kind of Kathy Woods type names. You have big, what would you call it? Eiffel Tower pattern, right? That being said, though, they are starting to find some lows in here. Lower low and then reclaim. So they've been a lot higher, right? It wouldn't be a bad idea if you want to get some money in there sooner than later. And if that does start working out, we'd reclaim this and this on the quarter, these 3s up in here. So it could trade 30, that does start going. Anytime we're above 12.39, we will see what comes of it and be watching out the rest of the healthcare sector. And I'm trying to skip over some of the few node buddies in here. We'll throw Tiva in there. So you'll see this. So bit has been higher, right? And that's a good thing to know about because we like trading back through a previous range. And if you've seen the Facebook charts and all the big boys, right? And we know why that is. But if we go into here on the month, you see the outside bar. They did reclaim this previous 3, but we draw it out like this. We go to the week. You see inside week at the bottom of that range. So that's something you keep an eye on. Smaller account guys. This one does like to move, and finally you can see they're killing them in here. Finally starts getting out of that. So we'll see what comes of it. But that is about all I've got for you here today. So, as the month starts playing out, we'll see who's following through. And obviously the things near the beginning where we're talking about simultaneous breaks, that's where we want to be. So, we'll see, do the uranium stuff really get going again? Do we see home builders simultaneously breaking? And do we see any tech simultaneous breaks going on, or consumer stuff, because they got a lot of consumers up and down. That being said, though, that's all I've got for you. And if you're gonna talk about continuation, you're gonna be talking about Bitcoin. So this is still something we're very interested in. You can see the inside year from 2023 still good. All right, so up 120%, and we got this inside week up in here. So anytime we're above that next week, 98, 966, that's something you'll want to know about with your coin, with your Riot, Mara, your CLSK, all that stuff. So we'll see what comes of that with the Bitcoiners. They've been a really good one to be trading, all year. But that's about all I've got. So adios. Have a good rest of your day. And I'll see you guys if you're in stat bright and early on Monday morning. And as the month progresses, we will start updating and seeing what is going to. So adios. Hopefully you guys had a good Thanksgiving. Have a good rest of your day.